Carnival Personnel was recorded in a dank, moldy basement.
Joe and Jacques, it's Carnival Personnel. Joe and Jacques, to their wives this show is their personal hell. Well, the show sounds the same every single week. Pats are great, Trump is lame, and Joe barely speaks. Who you think still listening?
Who you think still listening?
Besides Jim and Biff, yeah.
And don't forget Richard.
Here's a random review. No one cares about you two, Joe and Jacques.
Joe and Jacques, Joe and Jacques, Joe and Jacques.
Hey, Biff, why is it a good idea to date goalies?
I don't know, Jacques. Why is it a good idea to date goalies?
They're keepers. See, in soccer, they're called keepers. So, all right, I'll double down on this one. Hey, Biff, why can't dinosaurs clap?
Jacques, you've stumped me yet again with your wit and knowledge of comedy. Why can't dinosaurs clap?
They're dead.
Classic misdirection. That's so Jacques.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Carnival Personnel. I'm Jacques.
And I don't know what voice I'm doing.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Do it the whole time.
No. No. This is Joe, in for Biff.
Who's on assignment.
On assignment.
Meaning, that's code for he has a life.
Good for him, too.
Bless his heart. Literally, bless his heart. Bless all of them. You know, from the atheist, if I'm going to take time to bless his heart, I'll just take the whole time to bless the whole Biff.
Somebody better bless my heart, because that's the only way it's going to get any sort of attention.
It could get broken.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Then I'd be the owner of a broken heart?
Yes.
Yes.
Now it's in my head. Hold on. I anyways, big day today. As we record this, management is in the City of Angels on her way to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena to see Oasis.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a
super excited.
Hot ticket.
You know, we thought about going and seeing them at MetLife in New York, but a month ago, one of her really good friends says, you're coming out here and we're going to Oasis together. I got you a ticket. And she said, okay. You know, and I
abandon your family. We're going to Oasis.
No. Didn't abandon her family. Oh. Didn't. No. She took the family members she likes with her.
Oh, that's why it's so, what's the word? Lonely in this house.
Lonely. I have other adjectives.
Peaceful.
That was not one of them. But yeah, she took the boys because the boys and I were in LA just a few weeks ago. And I don't know the last time they've been this excited about like a movie or an event. They were pretty excited when they got Kendrick Lamar tickets, you know, back for Christmas, for months later and stuff. But when we were in LA a few weeks ago, and we went to Universal Studios, is when they found out that the franchise Five Nights at Freddy's was this week's theme for Halloween Horror Nights. And truly became unglued and lost their shit. And so we said, okay. And at first the idea was, okay, do really great the first 2 months at school. No shit in the morning, getting on the buses, getting out of the house, no just blowing off days, no phone calls from the school. And then, we'll take you, sometime around Halloween.
Straighten up and fly right, and maybe you'll be rewarded.
But then when the Oasis opportunity came.
Fuck all that shit.
2 weeks into the school year.
In fact, you're missing school to go to this thing.
Yes, which is okay.
It's not real important school. It's early school.
Well, early in the
it's early in the
junior
school
year
year.
of high school, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, who cares?
Who cares anymore?
They're not going to remember by the end of the year anyway, which is when it's most important.
Truer words have never been spoken. No, school doesn't matter anyways. Not for them. Like, where do they go? What do they do?
I don't think anything matters anymore.
It
This
doesn't.
podcast included.
Well, see,
I have to get one self-deprecating
Yes, but-
soundbite in there.
but may I make a correction?
Sure.
You said it doesn't matter anymore.
Never
Could you
did.
point out a
Never
time
did.
in which it did?
Oh, man. There's the semantics I was waiting to hear regarding my commentary on this podcast.
You usually have the ability to find that cloud inside a silver lining. But I guess it was how the tables have turned.
The hunter has become the hunted.
So they really buckled down the first week and a half of school, only missing one day because they're back Tuesday night, and Tuesday in our great city of Lowell is a voting day, and they use the schools as voting precincts or polling, whatever you call it, where the white people go to vote, or where the white people go to have their votes counted.
Are you sure that it's not like a sting operation to round up any immigrants that say, like, free voting in here,
Right.
vote for your freedom to stay in the country, wink.
Yeah.
And like a big arrow pointing here. Aqui, it says aqui.
Which means here in Portuguese.
And Spanish.
I like to say Portuguese.
I like that too.
Yeah, there you go. So finally, Mr. Tweedy, something we can agree on. But they, so it is, it's a big thing. Like Oasis is huge. Mr. Eugenio and Anthony and I almost went the other day, but tickets were ridiculous. And I'm kind of glad I didn't go, but I'm also like, FOMO, quite a bit. Cause all I do is watch Oasis concert clips. All I do, it is mesmerizing. The rabbit hole I've fallen down. Just every interview they've ever done in the last 30 years, I have found.
You're binging Oasis, and not just their catalog, but like everything that they've put on record.
Yes, and it's it's delicious. It's everything I'd hoped for. So I am super happy, super happy for her. 1 degree removed from Oasis. The end of next month, management and I are going to London and Paris, and it's the first time I've never even had a connecting flight through London. And of all the traveling I've done, of all the connecting flights and time I've spent in a lot of different, I wasn't going to say most, but a lot of different European countries, short stays like that. It was in France for a month, but southern France. So never made it to Paris. But the connection to Oasis is we go to London for 2 days, go to Manchester, England for 2 days. On Halloween, she will see Duran Duran play a concert, and the following morning, I will see Oasis's beloved Manchester United. I'm sorry.
Do we have to edit that out?
I might have to. Man City.
Thank you.
Man City play. Very excited about that. Then we get on a plane and go to Paris for I don't think we're there 48 hours, but I know we're there long enough to see PSG play. And it's another one of those free trips. So, we're very lucky and mostly free trips,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're staying in a hostel. I don't know where we're staying. If it was in the States, I'd just be like, we'll just, rent an SUV, get a pillow and a blanket from Target or Walmart for $20 and sleep in the car and go to Planet Fitness and shower there. But, I don't know if Planet Fitness,
extends all the way to Europe.
Over, I was going to make an old joke about France and showers, but you know what? No.
Hackneyed.
Yeah. That's hack by me. But anyways, so today is huge for her. It's also huge for the boys. So last night, Joe came over. What time do you think you got over?
2, 3.
And we watched TV about what time?
2, 3,
4. Closer to 4.
Okay. AM.
Yes. And but all these great pictures that she sent, because the boys dressed up as characters from the video game Deltarune to go to Halloween Horror Night. Ran into a bunch of other cosplayers from that universe, which is always like kind of fun and stuff like that. I will tell you my favorite Halloween season cosplaying at a theme park story I had. One year I was a zombie Captain Kirk, full on Kirk outfit, but I would sorry, I lied. See, there I go lying. I was a red shirt.
Oh,
that makes more sense.
Oops.
Yeah, shut up, Jacques. For Man United.
Yeah.
And then I'm conflating these two things. This is why
Do I need a defibrillator on site?
Look, apologies to Complaints and Observation.
I think there's a gas leak in this basement.
Exactly. But Dave from Complaints and Observation, you have to stop saying you are the worst podcaster. You have heard this show.
Right.
You have been on this show. That title is reserved for Joe and myself,
Yes.
sir. So back up. I mean, look, hey, you're doing a great job being
Stay in
awful.
your lane is what we're saying.
Great job being awful. Agree.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
you're junior varsity awful.
Yes.
We
are Champions League.
Yes.
Ha!
Should I do a pop quiz?
I don't know.
I schooled Joe yesterday on European soccer. I made about an hour of footage.
Yeah.
About an hour of Wayne Rooney highlights, Zlatan highlights, Eric Cantona highlights, in which I then made him watch the Oasis story about when they hired Eric Cantona. But he knows the difference between champions and Champions League.
Well, right. Well, because isn't there Premier League and Champions, and then League One and League Two, and etc.
And then the Champions is
it's the big, like the cream of the crop, right?
the top 4 teams
Yes,
from
the
every
top
European.
4, right?
So that's how you can have Dortmund play like Barcelona, AC Milan, play PSG.
Yeah,
I could go on.
you could.
I will not.
Thank you.
So, but back to the task at hand. So yeah, the boys sent so many pictures last night. I have not seen Mario Land at night.
Oh, Super Nintendo World.
Nintendo World, and
in Universal.
spectacular.
Mm.
I mean, it is one of those immersive experiences where you truly feel you've done acid and you've gone into the Mushroom Kingdom.
I hope to do that one day.
I keep inviting them. That's not on the rundown, but we'll get to it. Frontier Airline. I'll bring it up in a second.
Huh.
But yeah, it is. They're staying with our friend Ronick, and who's been on the podcast. I won't out her address, but I will say, if you're a regular reader to Vanity Fair, you have seen her house in the last calendar year because they rent it all the time to shoot. And it's really close to the park. So they were like, she's like, just stay here. And the boys are like, that's better than where we usually stay. So they're having a great trip. But I would say our marathon of Card Sharks.
Right. Don't worry, listener. When he said that we started off the evening with an hour of soccer video, I countered that with 8 hours of 70s sitcom clips and game shows. Thank you.
Yeah, we snuck in a modern movie. We watched Mr. Nobody.
Nobody 2.
2.
We watched Nobody 2. Legitimately. Yes, we paid full price for whatever service you get full price movies from.
Yep.
And we watched it after paying money.
Because that's who we are.
Capitalism
At its finest, yes.
Yes.
So that was great. So big week for everybody. And next week, I'm not really plugging the show because I think it is sold out, but I'm super excited. It's one of the shows that it will definitely be a highlight show of the year for so many reasons. I helped put together with management, with Mr. Katrobis, with the undisputed queen of New England comedy, Christine Hurley, a fundraiser for Eddie's Ranch. Lisa, a 501c3 rescue person who is just the best person. She has her handle across the social medias is Eddie's Ranch, named for this dog she had that passed like 10 years ago, Eddie. But she has raised so much over the years through her 501c3 that she has Eddie on Wheels, which is an organization that makes wheelchairs for special need dogs.
Yeah.
And we last April 2024, April 2024, got 2 special need dogs from a rescue we deal with in Kotter to foster, and one of them was a 2-legged pup that Lisa so graciously got a chair for, which so sped up the adoption, because special need dogs, they get inside you and own your heart more than you can possibly put into words. But there's some limitations. You can't really adopt a 2-legged dog to somebody who lives on the second floor, to somebody who, doesn't have a lot of money to go out and buy a $750, $800 wheelchair.
The best they could do is have a skateboard.
And some duct tape. But it's, or a Chihuahua on roller skates. I think the judges would accept that. So, Lisa came on the podcast. We chat about all her rescue work and all that stuff. Then we said, hey, let's do, fundraiser. I said, I'm a comic. I kind of know how these things work a little bit. I'll pull in my contributors' help. She goes, oh, I know another comic. I'm like, great. And she, who do you know? Christine Hurley, who was the guest the week before. It was just such a tiny world. We got Giggles at the famous Giggles on Route 1 in Saugus. And they moved us to the bigger room, which is a 140-person room. And as of right now, I think 125, 130 tickets are sold, and it's a week and a half away. So it will be great. It's a great cause, but it's a double headline show with Christine Hurley again, with Mike Katrobas, and of course our dearest friend, the lovely and talented Mr. Wayne Russell. I would say he is the funny and the good looking one from the Open Mic Podcast.
I'm going to promote him to talented and lovely.
Okay.
Not just lovely and talented. I don't see, looks first.
You don't. You're a better person.
It's really, it's a meritocracy on this side of the table, my friend.
No, so, just the update on comedy going well. We did a show with our friend Justin George the other day, who has kind of figured it out. He thinks he's figured it out, and it's unbelievable, like, how far he's come and as being a comic, but also as being a networker, almost shaming me.
Oh,
yeah, right. Like honestly, he has become the go-to guy for a couple other, prominent bookers in the area who like him, as they should, because he's really funny. But
does he think he's better than you?
He is. I don't know if he thinks he is, but if he does, he would be correct. As a person, as a comic, as a networker, probably as a husband and father,
as a bather. You go on and on.
Like, duh. Hello. Good guess. It's Wednesday. But no. And so I made Joe watch. It was mostly new stuff. It was more a glorified open mic showcase. And it's always great when I don't deliver a Joe joke well, and it doesn't do as well as it should. And it just hurts him. It hurts him.
You might as well just cut off my penis or something. I mean, when I see one of my jokes bomb that isn't being delivered by me, like I could take ownership of a joke that all the time on this podcast, right now, jokes bombing. Left and right. Hit the deck. Here comes some jokes from Joe. But when you deliver my jokes, I'm like, oh man, he's a seasoned comedian and they're still not landing. It can't be his awful delivery. It's got to be my awful writing.
No. Well, it is funny because, there's one joke that I do that lands. It usually lands. It usually lands well. And then there's an aside doubling down, the high five. And Joe was in a room and he didn't think it did well. He goes, maybe double dipping, maybe cut that part. And I played it back and I sent it to him. I said, no, actually it didn't do as well as the first pop, but it did fine. But then like he saw it, this morning, last night, I played for this morning. And he's like, nope, lose it. I'm like, no, it was my delivery. Plus it was a small room and all, but I like to do a joke before it gets cut in at least 4 or 5 different rooms. I'll get better telling it.
Yeah.
different audience react.
Yeah, I know. It's just me being reactionary toward my own awful material. I'm so very self-conscious. I see it as an indictment of not just you, but of me.
But on the other hand, when I do tell a joke that he wrote, I mean, he just looks at me and says, "You're nothing without me." He does. Okay, he doesn't say it out loud, but look,
I say it with my eyes.
I've known him for his entire adult life.
Huh.
Your entire adult
and
life.
pre-adult life.
Yes, yeah,
and a little bit. Hey, my lawyer has told me to bring up the fact that we met when I was 17 years old.
Oh, but thank God we live in Kentucky. Wait, what's that?
It was consensual.
You consented to the duct tape and zip ties. So I'm really looking forward to that show. And then the next show, I don't have a ton of stuff scheduled because I told a lot of people I thought I was going back to with the family this time around if it was going to be later, like late September, early October, but I didn't want to go back 2 weeks later. But I did take some time off, which is more than fine. I have other projects going on. Gives me time to write stuff that doesn't suck. But more importantly,
he says that though, and yet
you
wait and see what this time will produce.
More material, just not better material. But here's the best thing about this whole little experiment. Yeah, I mean, the fundraiser show. It makes my wife super happy because it's a dog rescue thing. It's for a really great friend of hers who's a great person, probably going to raise $7-8 grand. So it's
nice.
More than fantastic. I've not gone into giggles yet. It was great that I was able to loop Mike into something. It's like, hey, I got the show. Can you be on it? It's a paying gig. Not a great paying gig. But then Christine Hurley and just any excuse to be at a show with her, let alone that I'm hosting, and then doing, you'll be there. My sister will be there. Cousins who, do not like me, but love Christine. And then Wayne's going to be there. I mean,
what's the date again?
The 18th, September 18th, Thursday.
September 18th, Thursday.
And,
right.
And again, I'm just so super excited about that part of comedy that, I'll just be hanging out with people I would really like to be hanging out with. And it's raising a lot of money for a good cause. And then my next show after that is a, mic'd up comedy, Mike Cotrova's show. He will not be at it, but the headliner is our near and dear friend, Steve Bjork. So again, somebody that, I would pay to go and see, and the fact that I get to be on a show with him and I'm getting paid to hang out with Steve Bjork for a couple hours and annoy the fuck out of him. But no, I mean, I am just so lucky that I do get to do this, that, I get to do it with Joe. And that, again, anytime I'm doing a show with Anthony, Wayne, Justin, our friend Dan, just the list goes on. But those are the core guys, Mike and Liam and stuff like that. It's just really great. If I'm doing a show with McHugh and Wayne and Anthony's on it, or I'm doing a Mike show and, our friend Zach. I mean, it is just the best hobby.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's just so much fun. So I'm psyched that, and to be able to do some good with it, but anyways, I mentioned, traveling. So I am more than cautiously optimistic. I am almost giddy, because a couple years ago, Frontier Airline had a sale. It was $300, and you can fly as much as you want. There's blackout dates, so you can't fly every day. But it's one of those, it sounds too good to be true, but my wife has a friend who the last time they did a couple years ago got it, flew 20 times in a calendar year.
Wow.
You pay so when the boys and I just flew on points to LA a few weeks ago, and then when they flew on points yesterday with management, I think it was $17 a person, taxes, because you have to pay the taxes, on it. And the same thing, you have to pay the taxes and check, pay for your check-in bag, but carry on you got. So if you're doing a weekend trip, it's just, if you got 2 or 3 people traveling, because we got them for the boys, management and I, so we will pack one bag and pay $50 for the one big suitcase for the 4 of us to go from point A to point B. Then you go to Europe. I mean, it's not just flights to Poughkeepsie and Schenectady, and
which are also hot destinations.
Hello, yes, yeah. I mean, to go see the exterior of the building they used for the office in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I mean, sure, I could drive for 5 hours, or I could drive an hour to the airport, wait 2 hours to get on plane, have it be delayed, fly a half-hour flight, and then an hour to get off the plane. And so what I'm saying is, no, and I've called about, I reached out to some friends like, Dante the comic, who travels every 2 or 3 weekends to headline somewhere. And I'm like, dude, they go to Alaska. They go where he goes a lot and stuff like that. It's like, you should look into this. And he called back and goes, I looked into that and we're doing that. Friendetta, same thing. A lot of people who I know travel. I'm like, dude, go and look at it. So I keep telling Joe, it's like, dude, it's not that much. The only thing that keeps people from traveling is the gumption to do it. I mean, yes, there are costs, but there's so many ways to minimize cost and stuff like that.
But I don't wanna. When I travel, I want to splurge. I want to luxuriate.
Sure, you can luxuriate, but if you get a card that's tied to points and you can stay in a hotel for free and fly for almost free, you get your universal passes, you got to Uber, rent a car. There's cost, but if you're a smart traveler,
I'm out.
but literally, people are always like, "Can't believe you guys travel that much. You guys must be rich." It's like, no, we are just found
Savvy.
ways. Yeah, look, any chance I get to get bumped off a plane and get 2 more round trip tickets and be inconvenienced for a night or a few hours, or
That's like the frequent flyer version of slip and fall.
kind of.
It's like, whoops, I accidentally got bumped from this flight, and now you owe me $2,000 in credit.
But it's like, and why that happens? Because the airlines have to oversell airlines have to be full
And
for them to
overbook.
make money.
Yeah.
But there's X number of people. There's such a such a a calculus. Am I using that phrase right? There's
I don't know.
A matrix.
Yeah.
There's a formula. I guess
Yeah.
there's a formula. Like 15% of people miss flights. You get caught up in traffic, whatever your delays are, you get sick, this, that, the other thing. So they're counting on X number of people not being on the flight.
Right.
But in those rare cases where everybody shows up, they have to get some people to not go. And so it's just taking advantage. So one thing I used to do when I lived in LA and flew to Boston 3 or 4 times a year, I would, as soon as I possibly could, get tickets on the busiest travel days of the year, having no desire to travel on those days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have to be home. Like, I think I've been bumped off, let's say in the past 20 years, I've been bumped off 4 or 5 New Year's Eve flights or New Year's Day, flights and stuff like that.
So these are premeditated bumpings.
Sometimes. I mean, dude, Thanksgiving isn't a holiday for me.
Yeah.
So, don't really like the origins of the celebration and also being, vegetarian.
Not a lot going on. And now you don't even watch American
Don't
football.
want to watch American football.
And you hate you hate Santa.
Dick.
Yeah. I mean, he shows up at that friggin' parade.
Right. He is not, dude. You wait another week.
Right. And I think you got something against Al Roker. I think we're going to really extend your hatred of Thanksgiving all the way down to the roots.
You know what? He insists upon himself.
He does. He does.
We
We get it. You're thin.
So
Move on.
And I'm thin-skinned. So yeah. So I mean, the number of times I've been, had those opportunities. But anyways, like I said, got changed everything. Like years ago, got the JetBlue card and use that for everything. So just rack up points all the time.
Yeah.
So like I said, anyways, enough. I'm looking at Frontier Airlines.
Okay, Frontier Airlines. There's a scam. We're just waiting for you.
But now, let's get into the dark side of the world. There have been 2 events in like the past week and a half to 2 weeks that I'm surprised happened, just because I still am surprised how awful people can be. I'm always surprised that, wealth and privilege does not buy an ounce of class or empathy or decorum or self-awareness humanity.
In fact, it actually encourages bad people to do even worse things.
And of course, I could only be talking about two things. The U.S. Open and the Florida Marlins.
Oh, boy.
So we'll start with the first one. You go about 2 weeks ago, maybe it's about 3 weeks ago now, at the U.S. Open, which is a very expensive ticket. Like they're, they don't make a lot of special seating arrangements for widows and orphans,
Not so open, if you ask me.
And, I'd be surprised if people haven't heard of this, but I'll make it very quick. There is a prominent Polish, tennis player. This is not an opening of a bad 90s joke, but he won his match, and a lot of his fans who have traveled from Poland and other younger tennis fans, go down and to where the seats, you can reach down and
the front row seats.
Yeah. Which are the tennis players 6 feet tall has to reach up to get your whatever you want him to sign and stuff like that. And he's going left to right, and he signs person A stuff, person B, person,
And the person is bringing their stuff to hand to this player to sign in return. And
as he signs person's B stuff and he goes to hand it to the person, he steps to his right to get the next thing from the person. He's being generous with his time.
Yeah, a little assembly line there.
Trying to sign a bunch of stuff. And young kid, 10, we'll say 10, hands him his hat. And as the tennis player goes to hand him his hat back and step to the next person to sign something, the gentleman next to him grabs the hat, violently snatches the hat out of his hand. And as a kid, 1 Gotham City, 2 Gotham City, 3 of sheer stunnedness, because I should point out the gentleman who grabbed his hat was not his father, not an uncle,
not a security guard,
not a chaperone, doesn't know this kid from Madam Ox's aunt.
No, Adam's off Ox.
I knew you knew the line.
Thank you.
You lied.
I don't know you from Adam's off Ox. And where do you come off calling me Nick?
Well, that's your name, isn't it?
Out you two pixies go, through the door, out the window.
It is early September, so that is It's a Wonderful Life season for Joe and I.
Yeah.
Which starts December 1st and ends on December 2nd the following year.
Or whenever the Kleenex runs out. Back to this event.
So the guy grabs a hat.
Yeah, a signed hat.
Out of a child's hand.
Yeah.
And turns quickly and stuffs it into his wife's handbag.
Who is this man?
He is a CEO from Poland who flew over because this is his favorite tennis player, Polish-born star, and he flies all the way here with his wife. Maybe he has a 10-year-old, who knows? And look, it's one of those things where some people was like, well, if I was a kid's dad, it's like the kid's dad's probably 20 rows back, looking at his phone. It's like, I've been to events with my sons and stuff where they want something signed. It's like, yeah, I'm standing 20 feet away, but it's like, yeah, they're getting
send the kid down.
You don't think that a grown man is possibly going to assault your child, steal his hat
in the presence of a celebrity and others.
And so the kid's kind of yelling to the tennis player now, to whoever listened, and everybody's worried about getting their stuff signed. There's nobody there to advocate for the kid. The tennis player's moved on. He's probably just another fan crying out to him.
But wait, how did we, the public, find out about
the entire world? I mean, I said this to Joe last night. I said, this living room where we're watching, TV is probably the only place we can safely feel that we're not being taped, but only 50% sure we're not being taped. The wife doesn't have a nanny cam, big brother. Well, I don't have a big brother, but I'm talking the metaphorical big brother.
I mean, you only have 5 listening devices in this house.
Right. Well, while we're sitting there, you got your 2 phones, my phone, the listening device in the kitchen, my CPAP, which is in the living room. It has its own internet. It's not hooked up to our internet and stuff like that. So there's another.
I haven't checked out your refrigerator or dishwasher, but I'm sure they're Wi-Fi activated.
Yes, they are. I know the fridge is because if something goes wrong in the fridge, we will get a call from Best Buy saying, "Hey, we can set up a service thing because your compressor is gone."
TV doesn't have a camera in it, does it?
I do not know.
Nah.
You know, we have a ring alarm.
Mhm.
You know, so in the within 10 feet of where we were sitting last night, yes, there was at least a dozen things.
So at the U.S. Open event, you would think maybe also there are other cameras, sanctioned and unsanctioned.
At the end of a big match where a guy's signing and it's a good moment, you want
You get some B-roll for highlights reel or whatever. Yes.
And of course, this guy is, I mean, he's not the pariah of the U.S. Open of, Flushing Meadows, New York, which is in Queens, which is where it plays, which is, I can't believe my brain remembered that.
Hey.
Or the United States. He's a pariah around the world. And I can't even say half-hearted apology because it was one of those, I feel bad his feelings were hurt. I feel bad that in the heat of the moment, I thought he was handing stuff to people. No,
maybe in the original Polish, it sounds nicer. You think maybe it's a little bit of a loss in translation?
No.
Do you think maybe ChatGPT had something to do with the writing of that apology?
Yes. Here's the thing. He's the CEO of a company. There was a team that wrote that apology. He wasn't having a moment of reflection sitting in his mansion, really doing some soul searching.
I would be surprised if he even knew about the news report.
Yes.
All of this was happening around him, and the company or corporation is doing damage control, doing the PR spin.
But here's the great thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah. But here's the other thing. So just a few days ago, and what I like is, most like serial killers, like 90+% of serial killers are men, and
come on, ladies,
and white.
Step it up.
Right. Well, when it comes to this shit, equal. It's good to see that women are on equal footing when it comes to being complete pieces of shit
in public
to
children
at major sporting events.
Yep.
So why don't you take this one?
I saw the incident that happened in the stands at a Florida Marlins game, and they were playing the Philadelphia Phillies. That is, I think was it a Phillies home run ball? Yeah, it was a Phillies home run ball. It lands in kind of a sparsely populated seating area.
Well, you said it was a Marlins game. So
I'm trying to paint a picture. I know, right? Brevity is the.
Hey, what time's the game tonight? What time can you be here?
So a home run ball lands in front of like an older woman and maybe her mate, and they're about to go grab for the ball, which is like, 4 feet down from them because it's not like at their feet. I think it's like the next row or something. I don't know. It's like it's the way the seating was set up. It wasn't like literally like at their feet. They kind of had to reach down for it. But somebody else, another guy came over and grabbed the ball who was on the same level as the ball and had a better vantage point to grab the ball and got it, right place, right time, and took it back to his kid who's, like a 11-year-old kid, 12-year-old kid. It happened to be his birthday. And we find that out later only because we see this older woman, and I don't want to skin shame anybody, but she was a white woman. She comes over and starts yelling at the dad. And then you see there's other videos. There's the official camera from the stadium or from the televised cameras that you see from the back. You can't really tell who this woman is, but you can tell that the guy's being yelled at, and then eventually he just returns the ball, takes the ball from the glove of the little kid who he gave the ball to, which was his son, by the way.
On his birthday.
On his birthday. Gives it back to the woman, just kind of drops it in her hand and goes, "Here you go." And then she storms off with the ball, kind of like, this freaking guy tried to take my ball, and I'm not going to let him get away with it. And then, we see another person's camera phone footage of this woman yelling at the guy. and you can hear her say, "You took my ball. That was my ball. You stole that. You have to give that back to me," kind of thing.
Because she bought it at the souvenirs shop, and it was in her purse.
Money was exchanged.
That was zipped up.
She had a receipt.
Padlocked.
Yes.
Right. It was clearly a ball that she had purchased.
Right. And, well, okay, obviously that didn't happen.
Oh.
Obviously what did happen is the man physically assaulted the woman and took the ball from her.
Right.
Wait,
right.
oh, no.
No,
that would be something horrendous that maybe we can justify that this guy was in the wrong.
But you heard him clearly say, "Nice dye job. Go to your Subaru." And no,
he was from the 1990s.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
he was from the 1990s. No, but what the point is, this whole rambling is that this, we haven't heard the term in a while, but this Karen comes up, and chastises this poor dad to give the ball back to her because she felt that she had the right to it because it landed in front of her, and she just wasn't. She was too old and hobbled, like Buckner himself.
Why? Why do you like to hurt me, Joe?
They should have pulled him. All right, if they didn't want it to happen, they should have pulled him.
They wanted to.
They wanted him on the field, I guess.
The piece of shit racist Miss Jacques wouldn't let them.
Right. They wanted him on the field so that he could celebrate with the team. I'm sorry. We're flashing back to 1986 World Series, Game 6. But my point is, this woman was super entitled and real mean and just a real asshole. And luckily, when this was obviously all caught on camera, and instantly the staff at Marlins Stadium, which I'm sure is named after some sort of website that deals in crypto, I assume, they came over with like a gift bag, like a huge, awesome gift bag. Unfortunately, it was full of Marlins memorabilia, I guess, versus Phillies memorabilia, but the kid was a Phillies fan. But regardless, he got all his swag, and the icing on the cake is that the Phillies arranged to have the dad and son come down to the clubhouse after the game, and who signed the bat?
Yeah, the player hit the home run.
Oh, yeah.
Gives him the bat.
Yes.
And
then that woman came by,
and she's like,
"It's my birthday too."
But
and I'm older than him.
And when you saw the Marlins lady, just profusely apologizing to the dad and son, like it didn't seem like some intern that's like, "Hey, go give this to him." Like, sincerely, she felt bad at nothing to do with her, the stadium, the team, Major League Baseball, Al Roker, all of them off the hook for this one. And yeah, but it's one of those things. It's like, yes, both teams stepped up into great, but the thing is that kid and that dad, that's not what starts the story 10 years down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, remember that time I got that guy's bat from the Phillies? Isn't how the story starts.
Right.
And then Joe and I were talking. It's like, it's just after last week. I mean, if this woman has a Phillies jersey and is going to the stadium to see the team, you think maybe she has ESPN or maybe would have heard about this thing? Did she not only think that she wasn't going to wind up the pariah on the internet, or also that's it? Did she not think that I'm at this major league game, that every camera is going to be where the home run ball was hit, and that people in that are on their phones during the game, and as soon as anybody sees any drama coming, it takes less than a 20th of a second, which I timed to hit record on your CNN newsroom device we all have in our pockets, So how do people not realize that they're going to be the pariah of the internet?
Well, you could tell, I'm sorry, I don't mean to age shame people, but you could tell she was an older woman, maybe social media isn't front of mind a lot, for her. Like when she behaves in public, maybe she doesn't realize, oh yeah, people are videotaping me, or she's so goddamn white and so goddamn privileged that she doesn't give a fuck.
And again, Joe and I were talking, there was a clip that went around a couple years ago where it was a similar thing where a kid, gets a ball and, foul ball type thing, and he gets it and he's sits down in his seat, and a lady who's with a couple older, ladies next to her just reaches over and takes it out of his glove and is just like relishing it and showing it off to her friends. It's like she just caught the ball. And it's like, dude, I just don't get. And of course, this past week, I followed, the guy Tizzy, and there was another great, While Being Black situation where a guy was at an apartment building waiting for his buddy to come up, and a lady decided to come over, and he's filming the whole thing, or filming when she starts questioning and telling, okay, it's time to leave now. You don't have any business being here. And he's like, I'm filming this. And of course she goes, I'm going to call the police. She goes, go right ahead. I'm waiting for my buddy to come down. He lives here. I'm picking somebody up. And, she doesn't go away, keeps telling him he has to leave. She calls the cops, and then, through Freedom of Information Act, 911 calls released, in which she takes 10 steps away and tells 911 he's threatening her. He's, being very like demonstrative, and she fears for her life and all of this stuff. And while she's on the phone with the cop, he's still smart enough, or, it's just sad that, we live in a world where you can tell your listening device to start taping hands-free because there's codes you can put in, because so many people who don't look like me and Joe, lives have been saved, or the demise of their life has been documented because of this. But anyways, it's like, yeah, but just sticking with sports, it's like, come the fuck on. And on the other hand, there was one of those moments where I saw a home run or a foul ball hit, and there was a group of kids, and kid A gets it, and kid B sitting in front of him, one of the gaggles of friends, his birthday or something, no hesitation. Absolutely no hesitation to just give the birthday boy like the ball.
Yep.
And just a big hug. And I'm like, that's what it should all be. I mean, if you're a grown person, I will say this. I showed my son a football clip, and somebody titled it, the fans knew the assignment, and real football and soccer. Yeah. Balls go in the stand all the time. You got to throw them back. They're like $100, plus thing. You know what I mean? Oh, but there's a kid. It's my favorite. I will repost it. Kid runs on the pitch, grabs a ball. As he's running and security's behind him, the kid's 8 to 10 at the most, 10 at the most. So it's maybe a 4-foot wall he has to scale. As he's running to the stands, he just tosses the ball to the person standing right there. As the kid climbs up and he goes to step over the next row of chairs, he doesn't even look at the guy. He just puts his hands back, and the guy just perfect NFL handoff from quarterback to running back. The kid goes over another row of steps, and then fans basically build a wall so this kid can keep, reticulating the ball down the field and out the stadium. But it was one of those things where not everybody was in the planning session, right, but in real time realized
instincts kicked in.
Yeah, fuck this. Leeds doesn't need this ball. You know what I mean? I can help. But my favorite moment is like when the guy, hands him the ball, the first handoff, but the kid doesn't even look back because he's still moving forward. And it was just the most NFL teams should scout like that, because the handoff was so perfect. But yeah, I mean, just when you see pieces of shit like that out and about, you're like, oh God, you're like the kind of pieces of shit that would
call ICE on a neighbor.
Or yes, yeah, exactly.
Or work for ICE. Or
say, what?
This Karen on the Phillies fan, she's probably an ICE agent.
Yeah, yes, a proud ICE agent. She's the one who doesn't take her paycheck because she's just doing the Lord's work. And no, but the kind of pieces of shit who would, I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. Like, okay, let's say take the Department of Defense and decide to rename it the Department of War so you can sound more like a thug, a tough guy, a mobster. It's looking for trouble. Like the Department of Defense isn't out there looking for trouble. The Department of War is give me a reason. Give me a reason. I dare you. You know?
Yeah.
Just making friends.
Now, the reason why that happened, why it was originally named the Department of War, Because that's what it was. It was originally named Department of War in the 1700s, probably because the country was new and was in a lot of wars. And so they kind of maybe like, we're already in the mindset. Hey, we need a war department.
People forget when this country was started, on stolen land and built by slaves. But we were at one point, Israel, where we were fighting with every neighbor in every direction, whether it was the Spanish in here, the Spanish-American War, the French, the old, good King George,
Yes.
We fought so hard to get away from a king, but we were in endless war for the first
200 years. No,
Yeah.
no, we did a lot.
Well, the thing is, we were
First
in so
50.
many wars the first 50 years.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, fuck, we haven't had a war and nobody's really fucking with us. Like,
Start something.
why don't we start a fight with these guys?
The call is coming from inside the country.
But wait, we're on the same team. Yeah, but we're not, Anyways,
And maybe we should, maybe we'll have a second one.
it's already started. I did think, I had a thought. Just the other day, I was thinking, because they raised the age, I wonder if I could become an ICE agent. But, at the meetings at 5 a.m. when they're planning on where we're going from point A to point B, could I text my wife hey, the Oasis song that we really like, or whatever, send her an innocuous note where the first letter in every word is the neighborhood that they're going to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're going down to Piggly Wiggly today, or we're going to Home Depot and Alhambra. It's like, could I devise something? So you're going to be monitored. You're not going to have any privacy. So if I devised a way to send a text message to my wife or a friend, just of what do you think of Al Roker's weight loss? But whatever it was, the first letter or some kind of code to let them know, it's like, hey,
I've seen you write texts. And good luck fucking putting an anagram together. I mean, and good luck deciphering that.
But I did. I had that thought. How could I infiltrate? How could I truly get inside?
Not that we would, listener, whomever that may
Singular.
be, whomever the listener of this recorded podcast that's being published on the internet, that is available to Americans, government official or not. We are not saying that we are actually doing these things.
I wonder if I could pass a physical. Well, no, because I've seen some of those guys.
Yeah,
dude.
All right.
I mean,
you passed the physical. You're white.
All right, that's it. Moving on.
Yeah.
Done. Check and mate. I will say the other great thing today is, look, we know we're all going to die, and we're going to die a lot sooner. Yes. Did you? Because I don't. My algorithm is Oasis and stand-up clips and Wayne Rooney clips from '98.
And because you made me search for all those clips on YouTube yesterday, so's mine.
But I can't help but see clips from the RFJ hearing.
You talking about RFK Jr.?
RFJ Jr.'s hearing at the Senate the other day.
What about?
So he forced out the head of the CDC.
Yes.
And because he forced out the head of the CDC, I think 14 people also said, fuck that. We cannot be complicit in any of this.
They could not sanction his buffoonery.
And so they called him in front of Senate and just, again, couldn't answer the basic questions on anything. And when he did answer a question, just complete tinfoil hat. Just craziness.
Yeah.
Like just
lunacy.
Absolute. And then, of course, one side doubles down, and the next day, the governor of Florida says, we're doing away with all vaccine mandates, all of them. And I don't think he finished that sentence, and a tweet went out, and it might have won the internet instantly. It's like, I'm going to Disneyland. Polio.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll meet you there. Measles. Which again, the funniest thing is, and I'll be really personal for a second. So when our first son was born in 2007, had some medical challenges, literally right out of the chute, like he was not all the way out, and it's like, yep, we can deal with that. He had this thing called a clubfoot, but had a lot. I don't know if I should say this.
Okay.
Maybe we're you decide.
Me?
This is what a bad person I am. So this is 2007.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know. Yeah, I knew.
Huh.
So our kid had some challenges right out of the gate. Like, we did have a clubfoot, and they have to put him in this light because he was a little jaundice. And the doctor said, trying to calm my wife, and we were calm. Like, my dad was born with a clubfoot, my brother was. I wasn't freaked out. We're like, yep, this is it is what it is. We'll deal with it. That in that moment, in that time, neither one of us were freaked out. It's like, yep, you know what? It's going to build character. It's going to be fine. You don't want challenges right off the gate, but we had a lot of challenges. And so they clean up baby. She has him. I have him. And then they're like, hey, they brought the machine in. Like, basically they went down to McDonald's and said, we need the heat lamp from the fryers. So we're bringing it back. And the doctor mistakenly said, yeah, we're going to put the baby under this for a little bit. He's a little yellow. And I say, well, she's half Korean. The look on the doctor's face to this day of, yes, Joe nailed it. Just
like,
he couldn't process it.
Siri joking, serious.
I mean, he doesn't know me.
Yeah. He doesn't know you from Adam's off Ox.
And my wife is just like, just is this a bit? Just everything. This is a good 20 years before, almost 15 years before. I'm like, yeah, I can tell my little stories about how mean my wife is in front of strangers that Joe makes funny or ish. Tempted. Anyways, just to look, but he did. But so the thing is, he had a surgery at 6 weeks, and about 2 weeks later, we're in for the checkup. And the nurse, without asking, like the wife, she's there with a friend, they're going over paperwork, and the nurse just assumes it's a formality. She's going to give the first round of injections or vaccinations, which within 3 to 4 minutes, they're cutting his cast off and injecting him with steroids and epinephrine because he's going into anaphylactic shock because he had a reaction to whatever the 1-5 things were that, look, he does some dumb things sometimes, had nothing to do with the.
You shouldn't have fed him peanuts beforehand.
Look, how do you know? You know what I mean?
Having him suck on the peanut shell is not a good idea. And it's not a pacifier.
Look, it's all they had. Like, I came right from the bar.
You come right from the circus.
So we had this. So about 2-3 months later, in those 2-3 months, we were at the hospital 7 or 8 times for other things in this time thing. And he, frequent flyer, had our own parking space.
Got the points on that.
And so he, so it's time for the next shots. And we're like, okay, let's do these kind of one at a time type thing. And he had the next 2 times we tried just serious reactions. We're flash forward 2019. So he's 12. He had a really nice hotel room overlooking the Charles, right where the duck boats leave the Science Museum.
The duck boats are military boats.
They are. The word is amphibious crafts.
That's right.
They're
not just boats with a duck on top.
No. But you know what? so what ends up happening is by hotel I meant Mass General.
Yes.
So we were there for a week. He had anyways. At this point, he had in his life, let's say 5, 6, 7 MRIs. But for whatever reason, one day he's doing his MRI. He's sitting there like a champ. I would always sit in the room and just hold his foot, his ankle, while he was inside the thing, just a calming thing. And they like, okay, they go, if you haven't had an MRI, usually the way it works, it's about an hour, about 50-ish minutes in, they'll pull you out, hit you with some kind of dye, so they could take a different picture from a different angle, whatever. I'm not a smart person, but they take them out and they give them. Why can't I remember what that is called? Gadolinium is what it ended up being. But they give it to him. They put him back in, and instantly, he's like, "I got a itch." They're like, "Hey, buddy, just hold on. We just need a couple more minutes." And he's a fucking trooper. Strong as an ox. I mean, truly, he's always been freakishly strong. He lives with, when he wakes up in the morning, he wakes up in like what a normal person would be in level 3 paid. And that's his baseline. And so he's a trooper, but he's like, I really have to do this. And they're like, well, buddy, it's going to take long. And then finally he's like, I really have to. And they're like, fine. And he was not in the machine for 2-3 minutes at this point. And for whatever reason on this day, anaphylactic. And they instantly in the ER, in the MRI room, hit him with an EpiPen.
Yeah.
Which is funny because talking to the nurse
they should have injected him with the EpiPen. They can't just hit him with it.
I told him that. I said, look, I haven't used one of these myself, but I think the pointy side, look, I hit him enough.
They saw you do
Look, the reason we're here is because I hit him. Yeah. Maybe you should try another way of dealing, but seriously. And then it was getting so literally, and the thing that he had this like the contrast, that was it. The contrast, it's called gadolinium. And that is basically like a downer, where the epinephrine is basically
it doesn't work.
An upper.
But
it worked. I mean, instantly within 90 seconds, you can see these hives going away and stuff like that. His throat, he's out of the danger zone. But so we're in the elevator and we're waiting like 2-3 minutes. The elevator comes, and at this point he's wiped, and he is out. And we are on, I think it was like the 19th floor, whatever, and we didn't have the penthouse suite, but we were up there. And it was the greatest, funniest thing. 6-7 people in the elevator. Me, he's out in the bed. He shoots up like a rocket, claps his hand, and goes, "Let's do this!" Out. and it was one of those things where we're all like, that happened, right? Like what you just saw, I just saw, and whatever drugs they had through him. So my family, I only tell you the story because there were people in my family.
Still with us, no listener, by the way?
So the whole point is he wasn't vaccinated.
Yeah.
He didn't have most of his vaccinations. And, over the years, we would get one and wait a month, 2 months, 3 months. So he was on a very slow schedule. So every time we moved from point A to point B, Kotter, putting the kids in school, it's like, and you would have to go all the medical things. It's like, oh, they up to date on the vaccinations. Now it's like, well, we got to get you up to date. Like, no, you actually don't, and it's like, but there was people in my family who were saying, well, you can't come to the Christmas party. Well, you can't. And my whole thing is like, well, it's a herd thing. So if your kid is vaccinated for chickenpox, which both my boys got chickenpox by the time they were 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
They're never getting chickenpox again. When I grew up, in my day, we would have, if one of the neighbors had chickenpox and you didn't, that's where you spent the day.
Right. It was called pox parties.
Yeah. Like you're going to get it and be done with it.
Right.
And I can tell you this, I know the 10 kids on Carter Lane, Wilmington, Massachusetts, 01887 in the 70s, early 80s. None of us died of chickenpox. None of us were hospitalized for chickenpox. Maybe it happened, but no, it didn't. Anyways, so we had people in my family who, my parents, furious. And I tried to explain to them, it's like, okay, this is the rare case where if he has this thing, he could die from this. And, polio was rampant in my mom's family. My grandfather, one of 6 or 7, 3 or 4 died before the age of 5. The 2, 3, 4 that survived had polio. They're like, different forms of polio, like, but notably my uncle, had a leg brace his whole life. Anyways.
Yeah. So you were basically seen as anti-vax.
We weren't anti-vax. We were like, hey, we got to be different about this. No, we don't have the 30 vaccinations you get inside the first 2 years, but and then my mom or other people would be, well, maybe that's why he had a club foot. He's like, you mean the birth defect he maybe had because he didn't get the vaccination when he was 5. Your math is blowing my mind, but there would be fast forward umpteen years. Those are the same people who, when COVID came out, like, yes, we got the COVID shot, and the same thing with our kid. We didn't go to CVS. We didn't wait in a line.
Right.
We went to the hospital.
Right, because you don't know what the reaction is going to be because of the precedent set from other vaccinations.
And so we got the COVID thing, but we were really cautionary for him. Me, it's like, yeah, if
dumpster behind the CVS, fine.
100%. Yeah, this is still good.
Right.
But now those same people who were like vax happy.
Yeah.
And look, I never told anybody they were wrong for getting vaccinations for chickenpox or anything at all.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who didn't extend the courtesy of us doing things for our medically challenged child differently,
So what is the whole point of this?
Well, now all the people who were anti-vax are now the people leading the charge, who are saying, oh, good. You shouldn't tell families that they have to get these things. And those same people are the ones who are now going to be bringing diseases that have been eradicated back into the fold.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, there was a measles outbreak at Disneyland 2016, 2017, 2018. And by outbreak, there was like 20 people. They have 3 million people who go through those turnstiles a year. Yeah, that's a 12 people, 14, whatever number it is a large number of things, but it wasn't like we're all going to die. But where the state of Florida and other states are now saying, and it all comes down to, it's not that they don't believe in vaccines. It's not that they believe. It's that who usually pays for the plurality of shots?
The wealthy.
The government.
Right. Well, the
programs.
Yeah. But it gets paid out of taxes. And this is right. This is all a means to an end, which is
our end.
Cutting taxes out of public programs that help the less privileged on all spectrums of social services to divert funds to more profitable endeavors, such as war or Tux Cats for the rich. What? I'm sorry. What did you say? Come on.
The cowboy hat for you, Chihuahua, just arrived.
Tax cuts for the rich. That's like we're doing away with the Department of Education, with the CDC, with all this stuff, because
the rich have their own hospitals, their own doctors, their own armies.
Right. We
Literally.
We don't need to divert, what meager taxes are already being sent to the government of the United States of America to pay for these things. We don't need public broadcasting. We don't need any of that stuff.
Which, by the way, we watched a great episode from. They're all great episodes, but in the fun last night, that was a great episode of the electric company from what was it, 72?
I think so. Yes, we watched an electric company because we skipped through it. Don't worry, we didn't watch it in real time. We we got the gist of a sketch and moved on. Or if it landed on a Tom Lehrer song like Silent E, we're watching and listening to the whole thing. R.I.P. By the way,
gold,
great Tom Lehrer.
Gold, dude, just gold. No, but it is. It's one of those things where it's like I still don't understand how anybody can be voting the other way, and I mean that. And the thing is, the people in power know how bad they are, which is why the big beautiful bill, all the real cuts don't come into effect until after the next election,
midterms. Yeah.
So after the midterm, so the bill got passed. It guts everything. It's going to fuck everybody, but it's the people who voted for it or the people who are cheering it on, the dumb fucks who support these fucks, don't realize it's like, yes, the dumb libs and the only the libs like me and Joe, yeah, it's going to make it tougher for our kids and different things like, but it's all also going to be tough for you, you dumb fuck. And just a study just came out. There isn't a state in the union where 2 working adults making minimum wage can afford like a 3-bedroom apartment.
No,
like
3.
Well, if you have a family of 4 or 5,
Right.
you know, I mean, literally, there isn't a state where 2 and people don't realize Texas, New Hampshire, 4 miles away from us, $7.50. 30 years ago, the minimum wage in New Hampshire was $7.50, and you can't, you know, you can't live on that. And anyway, so
you can't live. You can't live well.
So you know, we'll continue with not bad news, but and not even sad news, I don't think. But I will address, and why I started off this podcast with a goalie joke, is the great. And I wish Biff was on this podcast. And I texted him. He goes, no, because, Ken Dryden passed. Oh. Ken Dryden, arguably, you know, it's at Patrick Roy, you know, and I think, yeah, you know, the greatest goalie, you know, of all time. You know, now I'm blanking on the guy from New Jersey. Fuck, it's going to kill me. Oh, but the great New Jersey goaltender. But Ken Dryden was just, I want to say he played 8 years. I want a very short career in the NHL. I think he played 8 years, but he won 6 Stanley Cups in 8 years.
You're thinking of Brodeur.
No, yes, thank you, Brodeur.
Martin Brodeur.
Who fuck seriously, it is one of those things. Is it Leonard or is it McCarthy? You know what I mean? Is it Noel or is it Liam? Is it Brodeur or is it Patrick Roy? And literally you can make an argument for both of those. But you know,
yes, listener, I had to look it up because I knew it. I knew the answer, but like
right there.
Like a shaky contestant on Jeopardy, I had to I second guess myself. And I didn't.
Hey, more want to be a millionaire. You went
right.
phone a friend. You went
right.
phone a friend.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
That friend was Google.
Pretty much your best friend. I
My
think,
only.
You know, I'm right here, but I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue.
But yes, back to Ken Dryden.
But Ken Dryden, yeah. So this is what Biff always likes to point out, and it's true. Boston Bruin prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Boston, but we
slipped through their fingers.
Yeah, we were goally heavy. And he was also in Cornell. Like, he didn't want to play in the NHL. He wasn't leaving Cornell early. He did leave Cornell a tad bit early because after they won the national title and he won the Hobie Baker Award, he went right from there. I don't know if he played a regular season game or went right from winning the Hobie Baker into the NHL playoffs. Wow. I think he probably played a couple regular season games. And again, Biff would be able to correct me on that. But Biff's like, no, I don't want to come on and have to point out, yeah, dude, it's one of those things. You know, it's like there's so many teams that drafted somebody. They didn't have room on the roster for this or that, you know, and they went elsewhere and flourished. And yeah, you always resent it. But Ken Dryden, being a Montreal Canadian, almost single-handedly ruining my childhood. Mm. I mean, by the time Bucky fucking Dent hits that bloop home run in the one-game playoff series in 1979, at that point...
Against the Boston Red Sox.
Against the Boston Red Sox. In Fenway,
yeah.
You know. But by the time he ruined that part of my childhood, yeah, Ken Dryden had already just gutted me like a fish. Because, so the Bruins won the Stanley Cup in 1970. And in the 1971 season, they broke every fucking record. They broke the record for records broken that year. And I'm not kidding. The most home wins, the most road wins, the most wins, the most points, you know, so few ties, the most goals scored, the biggest goal differential.
These are the Bruins.
The Boston Bruins.
Yes.
Like they own.
Sounds like they did that recently.
Shut the fuck up. You know, again, you know.
They liked it so much.
That was Buckner.
Yeah.
Now you were on the Binnis device. You were on the Binnis device. But seriously, in the 1971 season, as good as the Bruins were in 1970 and 1971,
the 70-71, right?
Yeah. So the 69-70 Bruins team won the Stanley Cup May 10th, 1970.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know my wife's birthday, but I remember that. But anyway, so seriously, they they go into the 70-71 season. And I want to say, without looking it up, they probably had 3 of the top 5 goal scorers in the NHL that year, or at least probably like 5 of the top 10 goal scorers were on the Bruins. Like, again, they didn't win almost every game. They won every game 4-1. Like they blew every team out every game. And that's when this Mr. Ken Dryden, who was, up in upstate New York, minding his own business, goaltending for, Cornell University, 4 goals like the last 2 months of college. He went back and got his degree in the summer, but comes down and bumps him out in the first round. Like, literally, it was just, and then, like I said, played 8 years, won 6 cups.
So they brought him on. Excuse me. I just want to make sure. So he was on the team. Was he on the Canadians for the entire season?
No.
Just for the playoffs.
Yeah, they owned his rights at that point because after the Bruins didn't sign him and stuff, like, he was drafted by the Bruins. He ends up.
So they just called in the big guns, essentially.
Well, he wasn't. He wanted to finish his college career.
Okay, but then
I mean, why would you leave? At the NCAA playoffs, to play a regular season game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, he probably played a handful of regular season games because
so then come May, he graduates.
April. No, he doesn't graduate. He leaves a couple months
early.
early.
He leaves early. I'm sorry.
But after the college hockey season's over.
Yeah.
After he wins the Hobie Baker.
Yes.
And then he goes on to win the Stanley Cup 2 months later. Like, honestly, and just in six cups in 8 years. And then he just retired because he's done. Now I'm 30. He goes on to be a lawyer. I will tell you, I have read 3 or 4 non-Kurt Vonnegut books in my entire life. May the force be with you. 3 or 4 non-Kurt Vonnegut books in my life. I read the Derek Sanderson autobiography in high school with the special reading teacher when I learned to read. But I remember being on a bus in juniors and reading The Game and just wanting to, he's a macho Canadian. And the picture is he's a tall fuck, and there he is just standing in his net. The play's on the other end. He's just kind of leaning on his stick, like looking down. The book was so informative and educational, things that I wouldn't have known. He talks, he's a lawyer, but also I think he had a degree in political science, but he talked about, so for people who don't know Canada, there's 10 provinces, and Quebec is the only one that speaks French. And forever, Quebec was going to be leaving. Like, they wanted to be their own country. And every election, it was on the ballot. And he talks in the book about the night there was a game and the election was coming down, and it became almost be careful what you wish for, because it came really close to getting what you wanted and becoming your own country. And then a lot of people were like, yeah, maybe we don't want this. And he's like, what? And he just goes into the weeds on that night of seeing, friends who have sat next to each other who are here for hockey and this, but like, it's like, it was
this internal struggle.
It was as much of a sociology book as it was a hockey autobiography. Mm-hmm. It was fascinating. Then Ken Dryden, 20 years later, the Canadian school system isn't performing as well as people thought it should. Ken Dryden, I want to say the 8th grade, but he pulled a Billy Madison, and he enrolled as an 8th grade student, and he went to school every fucking day as an 8th grade student, did his homework, even though he's more educated than any person in the school, he wanted to see from the student's perspective where the failings are. And he wrote a big paper on it, and it was like,
did he say bonjour, fellow kids?
He sat in the chair backwards.
Yes.
Baseball backwards hat, you know what I mean?
Skateboard over his shoulder.
Truancy. He came down. The number one problem with the Canadian school system is truancy.
Wow.
Kids weren't going to school enough. like missing 20-25% of the school year,
yeah.
type thing. And whether
So it was the children's fault.
it was the children, but whether it was being enforced, also because you got to remember, I think it's like 90% of Canadian citizens live within a 50-mile radius of the U.S. border. And so most of Canada is farmland.
Mm-hmm. Those kids need to be slopping the hogs.
Yes, that's a lot of it. You have the problems with the inner cities or the challenges within inner cities, but yeah, a lot of it had to be with kids were working, like working on family farms and that stuff. But truancy but that's the kind of guy Ken Dryden was. He didn't go into be a commentary. He did his life outside of hockey was outside of hockey. Very little, celebrity games, charity things, events, but he wasn't a big show up to sign autographs at card shows and stuff like that. He was a lawyer. He was a philosopher. He was
a politician.
And by all accounts, a pretty decent human being. At the same time, a big dick who completely ruined my life.
There had to be some collateral damage
after year.
There are winners. And then they're the Bruins.
And they have Boston fans. Don't forget. Seriously, even the Celtics in the 80s, they won
the 70s were
championships.
pretty rough for Boston fans.
Two NBA titles, and those are in the who cares category.
Right.
In the same time period, the Boston Celtics won 8 championships in a row in the same 8-year time. In a 6-team league, not 16, a 6-team league in those 8 years, the Bruins never made the playoffs. And sharing the same building. And yet you couldn't get a ticket to the Bruins. They were not only were the Bruins sold out every night, their minor league team, the Baby Bruins, the Bruins would play their home games Tuesday, Thursdays, Saturdays, and the Baby Bruins would play Sunday, Monday, Wednesdays.
Right.
And then Celtics schedule and stuff like that. But the minor league Bruins team outdrew the Celtics, who only averaged 5,000 or 6,000 people, even during the 8th. So when you see footage of that 8th World Championship, it's an empty building. It's truly, there's more empty seats where the failing, don't make the playoffs in 8 years, Boston Bruins, you can't get into the building.
Yeah.
So anyway, but Ken Dryden, seemed to live a good life. 70, I think it was like 78. So, okay. Or 76. By today's standards, having a parent who's 82 and 86, I'm like, 78 doesn't seem, that great. But, But yeah, good for him. A life well lived, a proud Canadian. And, no, he's not in the conversation with Marty Brodeur and Patrick Roy, but I can tell you this much. I will bet any amount of money you want, those fucking bastards had a Ken Dryden poster on their wall.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they had a Ken Dryden poster on their wall. They're both from Quebec. You know what I mean? It's like, there was no Nordiques then,
right.
So they definitely had a Ken Dryden poster. So.
R.I.P.
Yep. So that's it. Now, little TV talk. What are we watching other than your Plex last night?
I'm just starting The Paper, which is the new series on Peacock. 10 episodes. It's the sequel series to The Office. It's in the Office universe. It actually stars one of the ex-Office members comes over to the new. It follows like a Toledo newspaper called the Toledo Truth Teller, but most of their office is the corporation that owns the Toledo Truth Teller also owns, I think it's called Scotty, not Scotty, but like a Scotty type brand toilet paper, so I think it's called Softies. So Softies toilet paper takes up it's in like an open plan office, so like most of the cubicles are for Softies toilet paper employees, and then there's like a little bullpen area with maybe 1 or 2 offices for the Toledo Truth Teller. That's great. And so I enjoy it right now. I'm 5 episodes in. I like the characters. The pilot's pretty strong. And it follows there's a guy he's like he's a bright-eyed, he actually was an employee of Softies like he was like the best, you know, he had like the best sales records for Softies toilet paper sales, but he wanted to be a journalist, and he was a journalist, and he's hired to become like the editor-in-chief of the Toledo Truth Teller, and he takes over for an interim person who's there. She's like an Italian, I guess she's like kind of like a reality star that, like, you know, parlayed her fame to like this small town newspaper to become kind of the big wig essentially in this little universe. But because he comes in, he's her boss now, and so she's trying to undermine him. And then there's the owner. They have to deal with the ownership of the paper conglomerate that owns the newspaper and the toilet paper manufacturer. So, and it's just fun. And it's the same documentary crew. That's the core. It's the same documentary crew of The Office is now following the paper. And Oscar from The Office is now on the paper as their accountant. And it's, you know what, it's good. I like it. Like, there's some good funny moments in the 5 episodes that I've seen so far, and it's worth a watch. I say it's Greg Daniels. It's, you know, Greg Daniels has like 3 shows on the air now because he also brought back King of the Hill. Yeah. So, and then there's like another show that was on another thing that he was on Conan O'Brien. He was obviously came up with Conan O'Brien, and they recently had a podcast of Conan's where Greg was the guest, and they talk about their days of writing for not necessarily the news, the HBO, kind of like the Daily Show of the day.
Did they go from not necessarily the news to SNL?
Pretty much, yes.
And then they went to The Simpsons together?
No.
They came out to LA
I don't
together.
even know if, I think Greg did work in SNL, yes. But I don't know if they came out to LA together because I don't have a good memory anymore.
Okay. I'll listen to that, Conan.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not Conan, but you can. Oh, you were saying listen to that, Conan.
I'll listen to that.
But it's good, and watch the paper. You know, if you like The Office, I think it's worth the, you know. I know you have a lot of free time, gentlemen. What are you watching besides Oasis clips ad nauseum?
You know, I swore I wouldn't ever watch Dexter again. Like, that's not me. Those aren't my kind of shows. But management and I watched the series when it first came out. And I will tell you, I do not like talking about Dexter. Like that, the stuff in that show, like certain episodes, whatever. I can talk about Breaking Bad and other shows. But there's a couple seasons with Dexter that have haunted me so much, and a couple moments in Dexter.
Did you say they left you scarred?
Scarred for life.
But yeah, Dexter's pretty haunting.
But I watched it with management. So I've heard some great things about this new season. And I think it's like the second reboot of it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch the other iterations after the original run. You know, ends in a hurricane. His sister's dead. Spoiler alert.
Thank you.
And he drives away in his boat, you know, type thing.
Okay.
You know, and
he got away.
And again, the original series, there was a guy who always didn't like Dexter in The Office, who knew something was up with him. Like, anybody who would want to be a blood spatter expert, there's something fucking wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy would say that all the time. That guy got framed as being the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Ooh.
So not only does Dexter get away, and a lot of very close friends to him, including his wife, get murdered, you know, and stuff like that. So it was a tough watch, but there, like, I will say this much. The John Lithgow season is just no, that's the worst one for me.
Is he his dad?
No.
I'm sorry.
No, his dad, so anyone who hasn't seen Dexter, Dexter's dad was a cop who found him at a brutal crime scene. Like in a pool of his mother's blood, who was killed by a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
And whether nurture or nature, whatever it is, this, you know, so this cop adopts Dexter, but early on, right away, he's going to be a serial killer. The father knows he is going to be a serial killer. This kid has no empathy. Like, he is a serial killer. For you know, by age 4 or 5, so the dad makes a decision. He's going to raise him to be a serial killer of serial killers. And that's the whole premise of Dexter. But Dexter's dad dies, but he is in every episode because he
flashes.
is his life coach.
Oh,
no,
right.
He's right next to him. He has conversation.
Oh,
Dexter talks to his dad more than he talks to anybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Throughout the entire series.
Okay.
He has more conversations with his dad than anybody. And if there's a bad person, his father will remind him, it's like, well, yeah, this guy's a scumbag. And maybe he raped a couple girls, but he or she doesn't meet the threshold of you killing him and chopping him up into 9 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
That's his thing. Okay. So I didn't watch. I was never going to watch it again, but I hear this season's great. So I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. You know what? I'm watching this solo so I can fast forward through the parts I don't like. I don't like gruesome. If it's too stressful, like, what's going to happen. And you know what I mean? I can, if I hit the fast forward button and go 30 seconds too far, I can hit the 15-second back button, or I can piece together the next thing that's happening. It's fine, but I don't have to
watch it in real time.
And so, and nobody's saying, hey, no, we're going to miss that,
Mm-hmm.
So, but they started the season with a 5 to 10 minute recap of the entire last series.
Right.
Completely caught up.
That's all you need.
Completely, because then it starts off in that universe. It starts off in that universe or in that series.
Yeah. So you're primed and ready.
And so, and I will say this, like, I do love. So the original has been off the air for 10 years, let's say, maybe 10 years.
Okay.
Maybe more. I don't know, but at least 10 years. But it's great because there's a character from that who knows Dexter's Dexter and is trying to basically left Miami to chase Dexter to prove that he is
the Bay
Harbor Butcher and not the other guy.
Yeah.
But there's a great scene where the New York detective calls the Miami bureau. And it's great because here's a guy who hasn't worked in the Dexter universe in 10 years, gets a phone call from that. And it's the same actor. I'm like, good for this guy getting a payday. It really made me happy. It's like, I wanted to remember that character because he came on like the later 2 seasons. Really good guy. I think he ended up marrying Dexter's sister, if I remember right. But
so there was Dexter from 2006 to 2013.
Yeah.
Followed by Dexter New Blood, which was a miniseries in 2021. Then Dexter Original Sin, which is the season that you were just missed that they recapped for Dexter Resurrection.
Yeah, was Original Sin was a miniseries or a prequel?
New Blood was I don't know. 10 years after faking his death in Miami and moving to upstate New York, Dexter gets an unexpected visit. Okay, from the Sunny Abandoned. So that was Dexter New Blood. So that's the miniseries, that limited series from 21, and then 24 was Original Sin, and that's what was recapped for the new version, which is Dexter Resurrection.
And I mean, it is one. Just let me ask you this: what you know about Dexter? Good guy, bad guy?
Dexter is a complex. Who is Dexter? Dexter Baxter. I don't know his last name, but
Morgan. Dexter
Morgan. Dexter Morgan. Yeah. Who is Dexter Morgan? Morgan is a complex character. I would say, you know what? In this wacky, mixed up world, I'm going to say he's a good guy.
He hunts serial killers.
Yeah.
And the fun thing about the series, the original series, here was where the anxiety always came out. He wasn't he was a forensic expert who consulted with the police department, but wasn't on the police force. He wasn't a detective. His sister went on to be a detective.
He basically used the police force
to
get info on these killers to kill them and be judge, jury, and executioner.
And he was great at his job.
He's a vigilante.
But
he's a vigilante.
Yeah, but sometimes his reports would maybe omit something that would let him find the bad guys first. And it was a race. And then at the same time, there was always a race to catch him.
Right. I mean, so wait, let me posit this for a second. So in this social justice warrior mentality that we find ourselves in most of the time because we're liberal-minded people, when you watch Dexter and you think, yeah, he's taking the law into his own hands. He's not going by the book. He's giving these asshole murderers what they deserve, which is death, right?
Yes.
Now, are you pro-death penalty? because that's essentially it. Like he's just doing the death penalty without, what's that called? Justice.
Well, in theory, I am pro death penalty. My problem with the death penalty
is that it's so flawed.
It's so flawed.
Right. The system is flawed.
Where Dexter, the due diligence he gets,
right?
Due
process is what I was thinking.
I don't believe anybody that he has killed didn't deserve it.
Has Dexter ever oopsied?
I don't. Look, a couple people died because of who he is and who got caught up in his web.
Okay.
Hunting a serial killer who hunted him killed his wife. Mm-hmm. So, his sister died. A few people died who were good people because of who he is.
Right.
So, yeah.
But he's never everybody that Dexter has killed has been legitimate.
Yes.
Because that would sully and that would tarnish the character of Dexter.
100. And like I said, his father, is always there to remind him this person is a piece of shit.
Right.
But they don't meet the code.
Right.
And there's been so much, there was an episode where there was a really bad guy, like a really bad guy. Like if he died, the world wouldn't be a worse place if this guy died. But Dexter scared the shit out of him, got him in his kill station, but let him go. But literally, you weren't really 100% sure which way. Oh, by the way, turn around. So I have two T-shirts. I have two shirts hanging up in my office, as inspiration to stay on my program. One of them is a Movie Loft. That's a Dexter Kill shirt. So management got me that way back, 2010, because he always wore that shirt when he went killing. And it's been hanging there.
Does he get it dry cleaned?
I think he has to do his own laundry.
All right.
I believe
I'm just making sure. All right.
Has to do.
Now, by the way, I don't know if this has been broached. Is Dexter on the spectrum?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I use this in a recent post I put out, but yes, that's the headline story in the No Shit magazine. Yes, of course, because he has practiced empathy. Over the years, he has to have learned, when he gets to a crime scene,
right?
And he's a
sociopath.
Husband's brain is spilled out and the widow's there. Not to say, you're getting oil on my blood, you're getting blood on my oil stain, type thing. So he has this practiced empathy. He's gotten better at it.
Right.
He's gotten better at social cues.
He masks
really well, but it's a Batman thing. It's like Bruce Wayne is his mask. And a guy with, a couple Batman tattoos, and that's his second favorite hero. Yes, I have evolved in the thinking where, his fucking code of not killing the Joker has resulted in thousands of people dying, because Batman will not break his code and kill the Joker. And there's no institution on this planet that can keep the Joker at bay forever.
And by the way, it's only to flip to Batman and Joker for a second. The only reason he keeps Joker alive is to keep him going as Batman.
Yeah.
It's only self-serving. It's not for the greater good.
It's not,
it's very selfish.
And so with Dexter, he does have a very strict code. Mm-hmm. And let's say a couple strays have been taken out because of him, which is horrible and not okay. But he's taking out serial killers who have hundreds of people, who have hundreds of people more.
But why not turn them into the authorities?
So they're going to escape. They're also going to become celebrities. They're also going to become even more famous and inspire the next wave of killers.
So it's better
to
just make them quietly go away.
Plus, he has a physical need. He doesn't have sexual urges. Mm-hmm. He doesn't see a great rack and just, the loins go doing their own thing. Nothing. He doesn't have that.
Well, he did marry his sister.
No, he married somebody, not his sister. His sister married another serial killer.
No, the Michael C. Hall married the actress who plays the sister.
He did, yes. Yes. I wonder if that worked out. Anyways, also, I don't care. But as far as this goes, yeah. So and I got to tell you, I didn't watch Game of Thrones, which surprises people.
Okay.
But the first thing I've seen Peter Dinklage in was either Elf or a small movie called The Train Station.
Okay.
It's a very small movie. It's like a 3-people thing. He's great in it. Like it's a train something. Joe's looking it up. It's a small movie. I'd be shocked if the budget was over $2 million, $3 million. Maybe $2 million 20 years ago, but he was so great in that.
The station agent. It
is so good. No explosions, no big car chases. It's just a really wonderful movie. And
2003.
I tell you this, I'd be very surprised if your management didn't love it. It almost has like a British feel to it, like a BBC production type thing. Very small cast, very few locations, but that and Elf are the first 2 things I saw Peter Dinklage in, and everything he's been in since then has been great. Just absolutely great.
How many credits would you say he has?
God, I'm going to say
acting credits.
Probably something like, I'm going to say like 18 to 20 movies, but he's done 1 episode of 30 TV shows.
Yeah, he has 125 acting credits.
Yeah, just so prolific. And a range,
Yeah.
A range. And in this, fuck, he's really good. He's really, really great in this. So I'm enjoying this. I'm really am. I'm watching a lot of old stuff, but I highly am enjoying, the new Dexter.
I might be wrong. He might have 245 acting credits. I don't know.
It's hard.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Like if he was in 100 episodes of Game of Thrones, are they counting
That's
those?
one credit.
Because it should be 1 credit.
Right. Because it's just one role.
Unless he played a twin.
Like Laurie Metcalf did in
yes.
Norm.
So that was what Joe and I watched this morning. I'm trying to wrap up season 3 of Norm.
We're only on season 2.
Are we on 2?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Okay, good.
Well, season 3 was like a half season.
All right. Because I still got like 10 Tituses left.
Oh, boy.
Because when I started doing Remley,
Yeah.
I'm like, because I'm looking at my to-do list for this year.
Remley is the script you're writing.
My new sitcom.
Yes.
Our new sitcom. Because Joe fucked up and no, he didn't read the first 9 pages and do what I want him to do. This is the greatest thing ever. It is so funny.
No notes, Mr. President.
Just keep doing what you're doing and keep cranking out the good.
Make comedy great again.
No. He sat down and said, well, you described the ethnic background of everybody else on the first page when you introduced him. Am I just to assume that a normal person means he's a middle-aged white guy? Racist.
Right. I was like, you say black this, Italian that, whatever, Pakistani this, white. I didn't see it. I'm thumbing through. I don't see the word white.
Oh, so he had a falling out with his old partner. Were they stand-up partners? Were they improv partners? Were they in a sketch troupe together? And I told Joe, you have to go now. I now have to do the hard stuff and put
right. Right. Look at what then it was like. It was his ex-wife is a comedian, or what was it? Yeah. I'm like, what?
Why did they get divorced? How did they meet?
Do they have kids?
Can I just write a couple funny lines and you say this is the greatest thing you've ever read?
By the way, all these characters sound alike. They all talk in the same kind of smarmy tone. Did Craig Kilborn write this? Anyways, I'm sorry.
Yeah. See how I have to deal with? See what I put up with? Sure. It makes everything I read or write 1,000 times better, but he makes me do the work part, the worky work part, and me don't like it.
I don't like it either.
But it's great. All right. Games? You got any game going? No, you know what? You played some games this morning.
Yeah, I crashed over Jacques' house last night. Fun weekend, whatever. His family's away. He's lonely. He needs somebody to spoon with. hang out with. And so
the 4 dogs, 3 cats. And
by spooning, I mean spooning the chili that he made the next day.
It was good.
It was great.
I want to say great. Good. I would say good.
It was. I don't eat a lot of chili, so it was great.
Insist upon itself.
But the game that I played was the Atari 2600 that he had in his office this morning, and thumbing through the cartridges that I had to dust some off. I had to reconstruct a couple. Luckily I had my soldering gun with me, and I was able to No, I didn't have to do that. But, I played Atari 2600 games. Galaxian, great. Miss Pac-Man, classic. Pole Position, fun. Jungle Hunt, it was nice. Donkey Kong, kind of repetitive. I just forgot how, bland it was on the Atari 2600 compared to the arcade classic.
Yeah. It was.
It's 3 screens and then
Speeds up.
right. Lather, rinse, repeat. It's okay.
A little faster.
Yeah, and so that was a little whatever. But you know what? Yeah, I'm jealous of the Atari 2600 collection you have because you have 3 copies of Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Because you can never have enough. No, we bought them in separate lots or something like that.
Well, tell me how I came about the Vader version of this.
The black, the all black Atari 2600 console. Yeah, we told this on the podcast years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah, I happened to be on Craigslist at the time, which is my daily Craigslist thumbing through for cool shit. And I searched for video games, and I also searched for free stuff in the area. And under the free section, somebody was giving away an Atari 2600 with paddle controllers and 2 joystick controllers and the hookups and over a dozen or so games in the Lowell area. And I was, I was at work and, in not Lowell. And so I texted Jacques and I said, hey, they're giving this away for free. And then you went out, met up with the guy within an hour or 2.
But Joe and I were also putting together a retro game.
Oh, right.
Fundraiser.
Yeah, we were working with the games thing. What they called I'm blanking on the name. I'm sorry, but the old and the cholesterol is blocking the oxygen to the brain. I can't remember things anymore.
But it was at Mill Number 5. We raised some money for Llama, which is an organization I worked with over the pandemic. Great people, great. It really was. But yeah, it made the newspaper. In the newspaper, there was a great picture of me as Luigi and my little guy who was, God, he's 15 now, so 10, 11,
We made some memories.
It was great. And Joe and his boys showed up that night. But yeah, we need a couple games. Joe also found a couple TVs for me to drive around and buy. It was a drug deal.
Huh.
What do you call those TVs that you need those hookups for?
Oh, CRTs.
CRTs. And honestly, had to drive to Methuen, meet some guy in a Target parking lot.
That's where because you don't want to go to somebody's house.
No, I don't.
Yeah, nor do they want you to come to theirs. It's
but just meeting in a parking lot.
It is like a drug deal.
They open their trunk, I open my trunk.
Right.
Money exchanges hands.
Right.
Goods and/or services returned.
You were wearing that Heisenberg hat, which is a little intimidated.
Say my name.
You're goddamn right.
So that was great. So we are playing games now. Hey, you got a couple kids in the workforce, college boy at home. What are your parenting tips?
I would say, tell them to get up off their ass and go get a job, you bum, you dirty, dirty bum. Now, I would say, encourage your kids to work and then make money so that they don't need yours so much. It benefits everyone, really.
Win-win, they call that.
Yeah.
That's what you call a win-win.
Right. So what's your parenting tip? Your tip is always better than mine.
No. If they were, my kids would, yeah. Anyways. So yeah, my parenting tip is, it's just a simple one is, show up to their things, enjoy it and keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
So my little guy has started his illustrious football, soccer, high school career this week. Mm-hmm. Look, does my comment straddle a line of being vaguely racist? I don't think so. But my mom was meeting me at the field the other day, and as she gets there, she goes, "Okay, which one's Tristan?" I said, "He's the one with the blue hair," because last month it was flaming pink hair. This year it's almost neon blue. And I said, "Ma, he's the one with the blue hair. And he's the white one." Because he plays for Lowell High School. And they were playing Lawrence High School. So it was a bunch of Dominican kids from Lawrence, Dominican and Puerto Rican kids playing the Brazilian and Portuguese, or Colombian kids from Lowell,
Yep.
with the refs and my son were white, and it was great. But he had a great game. He in the first game he should have had a hat trick. He should have had a hat trick. Could have had 5 goals. And when he got to the car, I didn't say a fucking thing. He said, do you have this play? Do you have this play? Because I would hit the record button when it was coming down to that side of the field, all that. And I got a lot of plays. He goes, because I should have done this. I should have done that. It's like, yeah, he knows what he's doing. He knows more than I do.
Yep.
Plus the game is a lot different out there. I sit far enough away because the ref made a very bad call, and I kind of stood up in my chair. I'm like, come on, but not at the ref.
Yeah, just
if I was in the
like
living room,
just like a spectator.
Right. If I was in the living room watching a game, I would have been the same thing. And it was a very bad call where my little guy got tripped coming into the box just as he was passing the ball forward to somebody who had a clean open net. And they blew the play dead and gave them a free kick. Without getting into the weeds, it's like, in hockey, if somebody trips you or cross-checks you, but your team has the puck, they don't blow the whistle until the other team has possession of the puck, because you're taking away the advantage.
Yep.
So my son made a great pass as he was getting, bodied down to the pitch pretty hard. Maybe it should have been a yellow card. They get the free kick, but you would take you take a breakaway over a penalty shot, type thing. You take the breakaway over a 2-minute. So it was one of those things. It's also the first game of the season. And I don't sit on the sideline.
Yeah.
I'm a good 30 yards back, and I'm not yelling at the ref, at the coach, at anybody. I never have, never will, but that was the thing. If he wants to talk about it, I just like, dude, that was great. Yeah, if you want to go work on this weekend, we can, type thing. But I'm not like, well, he was open there. Or, hey, why didn't that guy pass to you here? Or what, it's like, dude, just enjoy it. If he wants to talk, great. But make sure he gets there. Make sure he has the shit he needs, which he has trouble leaving the house. It's like, you got everything for football? Yes. You got your cleats? Yes. You got your shin pad? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You got your socks? Fucking Papa, I got it. 2:00 in the afternoon. Papa, can you bring my cleats? Papa, I don't have my left shin pad.
Do you need me to send you the GIF of Mr. Potter going, well, suddenly I've become quite important? Send back every once in a while.
And so I don't want to micromanage. I also don't want to make a second trip down to Lowell High School in a day. But that's it. Just show up and enjoy. This is his thing. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
If he, and like I said, if he wasn't in LA this weekend and he wanted to go work on whatever, like he made a couple faux pas on throw-ins, where you can't lift your back foot before you release the ball type thing. He doesn't. No one goes and works on throw-ins. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like people just don't work on the boring stuff that is crucial.
David Beckham does.
Yes. And that's the kind of, but David Beckham works himself. You know what I mean? And so he's got the point. All summer long he was working, and even when we were out in LA, he was out in LA 5 days, we got to the pitch 4 times. Because he wanted to, like, point A to point B, we're going, can we stop on the way home? A couple hours of daylight. Can we do this? But that's it. That's all my job is. My job is to be the unpaid Uber driver, and look, he doesn't get in the car. Oh, sweetheart, that was a great game. You were the greatest player in the world. It's like, dude, you're good, great. Team did great. You won, hey, yeah, it was a tough game. Don't micromanage. Don't do any of that stuff. Just fucking enjoy it. It's his thing. It's not my thing. I'm just lucky he lets me go to the games,
You're right.
So,
and there's no restraining order against you.
No, Taylor has told this story. There's some towns where parents can't go to games, and there was a guy who was a prominent sports agent in the SoCal area, and he has been banned from going. And his kid is 12 at the time, 10 or 12. It's not 17, 18, there's not scouts in the stands. It's let's say it's 12 at the most. This guy couldn't be within 100 yards of the baseball field.
Wow.
He would park his car 100 yards away and with a megaphone be yelling.
One jerk.
This is a guy, prominent, 7-figure.
That's how he got to that position.
Sports agent.
Yeah.
Like his kid's going to be his next, client, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But literally banned from going to the games and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, a couple of years ago, I talked about it on the podcast because he was on a team, a New Hampshire team playing academy teams. And academy teams, like I was explaining to Joe, $1,000, $2,000 a month for kids to go to these academy teams, where his team was a bunch of brown kids who literally were ragtag. Like they didn't have a training facility. Their home field was by far the least well-maintained. It was a public city field. It wasn't, an academy field. It wasn't.
Was it like, a patch of grass?
Yes. But they made it to the state finals 2 years in a row. And comments made from New Hampshire is more of a red state.
Yeah.
Not completely a red state, but let's say, and the further north you got, the more, and there was a couple times I had to go have talks with people. It's like, you're going to sit the fuck down now. That kid's 12.
Yep.
Just awful stuff. That's the only time I ever intervened, a couple times where there were some calls that were like, oh, there's no way the ref isn't getting a paycheck from this academy thing, that these people have to go to the next level type thing. Like, I mean it. Never said anything to the coach. I don't know this game. I'm learning this game in real time. But that's my parenting tip. Just enjoy it. Just let them fuck you. I don't care if you enjoy it. Let them enjoy it. This is their thing.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
And
we will shut the fuck up.
And we will shut the fuck up.
For you. Thank you, listener. This has been Carnival Personnel Podcast. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. Just kidding. I don't know where else. I mean, there's a couple of spots I think we publish, but I leave that to the experts. I don't do that shit no more. I love to not know how to publish a podcast. But, I'm looking forward to September 18th, Giggles Comedy Club, Saugus, Massachusetts. Eddie's Ranch fundraiser for dog rescue. It's a good cause. It's a good time, despite Jacques being there. Kid, it'll be great. Enjoy the next couple of weeks. Maybe we'll be on next week for another episode of something. I don't know if there's going to be a sideshow, but who cares? No one cares. Nobody cares. I look forward to seeing Biff once more. I'm sure, hopefully he hasn't forgotten his login information on how to get on Zoom so that he could join us next time. But it'll be great. Pay no attention to that man running the United States of America, by the way. Actually, we have to pay lots of attention to him. God damn it. I just wish we didn't have to. Oh, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just, if you just resist whatever you can. Don't cooperate with ICE. What else? Vote, maybe. I don't know if that's your thing. I don't know. Not really an election cycle. Maybe some local stuff. But yeah, if you have some local elections, vote the right way, not the way Fox News tells you. What else? What else is going on in the news? Oh yeah, I don't want to talk about the news. I just want to wrap up the old podcast here. Yep. Time to wrap up the old podcast. Well, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Last call for comedy. Podcast is wrapping up. Anybody's got any more jokes? Any jokes? No jokes? No. Any insightful commentary? Nothing? Anybody want? Mic's open. Come on. Anybody got anything else they want to say? No? All right. I'm flicking the lights off. You, sir. Hello? Down there. Right. Your mic was off the whole time. You didn't contribute at all. You have to go. No, I can't give you a ride home. You just have to go. No, I'm not calling you an Uber. No, I'm not calling you a Lyft. They're the same thing, basically. No ride sharing, no taxis. No, I can't lend you $20. No, not 10. No, not 5. No, not 4. I'm not calling you a cab. All right, you're a cab. That's enough. Goodbye. No, not that way. Sir, that's the storeroom. Oh, fucking Carl, can you grab this guy? Can you just show him out? Yeah, thanks. Oh yeah, there's a guy named Carl that works here. By the way, it's been 8 years? Forgot to mention there's a guy named Carl that works at this place where we do our podcasts, and it's 1 a.m. and we're recording this, and it's it's late. It's time to wrap up. We have laws in this state. We can't podcast past 1 a.m. So time to go. Jacques already gone. He's texting me on the road. Dude, don't fucking text me while you're driving. You are driving. You know what? Whatever. Oh, I'm getting another text. Not funny bit. Oh, wait, you're listening to the bit in the car while you're driving? Whoa. I don't know what to say. Carl, no, get him out of there. Get him out of here now. I don't give a fuck. No, he can't. No, don't bring him here. Out that way. What the fuck? Do I got to do everything? You know what? Don't forget.
Just a better old man. It's kind of what I've always been. I've always been a crotchety fuck. My body's just catching up. I sometimes wish that I'd died young. Maybe just didn't live long enough to learn the ones who really run things are generally the most corrupt. When mankind stepped outside the food chain, we introduced a fatal flaw. Got tangled up in romance games, and we started to default. It's not the fastest or the strongest. It's not the brightest or the best. It's whoever holds the reins the longest controls the wretched rest. So you got cousins, fucking cousins, to keep the rule among the few, until all the kings are crazy and the rest of us is crew. What else could it be but madness? The madness of a twisted greed. time on earth. The rich to be reviled for taking more than they could ever earn. If you wanna know whose prick it is, 'cause you know your cat is screwed, it's probably not some other poor slob who's twice as fucked as you. The most amazing thing of all to me and David